Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Emily Grossman. Thank you for being here. I'm here at this rebellion partly in my own right, having come along to the rebellion in April, knowing honestly very little about climate change and the impacts on the world. I'm a science broadcaster, an author, an educator. I have a PhD in molecular biology, but actually in April, bizarrely, which kind of symbolizes the entire issue, I didn't really know that much about the climate crisis or the ecological crisis. However, I came along to the rebellion and saw all these people on the streets, and being a real, hardcore scientist by training and by sort of personality type, I thought, well, come on, this can't be serious. If it was this serious, we would know about this surely. This would be being shouted from the rafters, from the rooftops, and if this were true real science, if it really was this bad, then of course the governments would be doing something about it. Of course the citizens would be rioting and uprising and doing something about this. So I set upon my sort of personal mission over the next few months to kind of immerse myself in climate research, climate science, speaking to... Am I about to be arrested? No. Speaking to climate scientists, speaking to professors of biodiversity, and I've immersed myself for the last 6 months now in all the science, the IPCC reports, and all the publications in Nature and in Science and all the top academic journals, and talking along with professors of climate science like Julia Steinberger, who you heard from just now, and a lot of other very high-profile climate scientists.
Yeah, lovely. My musicians are gathering up there.
And the results of my sort of investigation, shall we call it, was utter horror. And I can honestly say I've barely had a good night's sleep since. And my horror was personally about the reality and the absolute truth, not just, this isn't a debate as it's been framed so often. This isn't sort of a few scientists saying one thing and a few other reports saying another thing. This is unequivocal, and it's not just bad, it's really, really bad, and it's really real, and it's really true. So my horror was partly the fact that this is happening in our world, to our people, to people, everyday people like us, and more so to people across in other parts of the world, and it will be impacting us more and more very soon. So it was partly the horror that this was going on, but more so was the horror that why is it not being talked about? Like the utter disbelief of how can this be? That this is the reality, this is truth. But it's not being acted upon. We're being lied to by our government. We're being lied to by fossil fuel companies. We're being lied to by the people we're supposed to most trust. And as scientists, my life has been about the scientific method, the scientific rigor. And yes, my job now is to communicate science to the public. But as scientists, what we are trained to do, what we are promised, is that if we report on the science, then it's not our responsibility to make sure it's acted on. In fact, we are told categorically to be impartial, to not do anything other than speak truth, and that we are assured that the people and the government will make sure that this is accurately reported, that the truth is treated as truth, and that we act on it as if the truth were real, because of course it is. But that is not what's happened. So climate scientists across the globe are now saying, well, hang on a minute, it's our duty to report the truth. We've been promised that the truth will then be acted upon, and this hasn't happened. So we now need to come out of our laboratories, we now need to come out of our ivory towers, we now need to come out of the place where we feel most comfortable. Not me, I'm comfortable speaking out, but most scientists aren't. But they are now saying, hang on, we now have a moral duty as human beings, not just as scientists, but human beings who know the truth. We now have a moral duty to come out onto the streets and take action. And so I'm a member of a group called Scientists for Extinction Rebellion, which we founded a couple of months ago. And we're having enormous impact in the science community. And as of this morning, we now have more than 1,000 signatures on our declaration. These are signatures from senior scientists across the globe, including at least 50 or so professors of climate science and climate research, professors of biodiversity, professors of the impact of our human action on the land of our planet, of our airs, of our seas. We have 1,000 or more already names, and what these scientists are agreeing to and standing by is not just to say that the facts, the truths are unequivocal, that we are heading for disaster, that if we don't bring bring our emissions to net zero now, the results will be catastrophic and irreversible. Not only that, but they are now standing behind non-violent direct action as the only course we have left, having talked about the emergency for 40 years. Scientists are now saying 1,000 and counting that the only thing we have left to do is take non-violent direct action, even if at times it goes beyond the bounds of the law. Thank you.
Beautifully put, Emily, thank you.